He going down. Trump's going down. Woo! Yeah, but before we get off into that, I want us to touch bases on this. So, man, this Trump, they need to lay him down, set him down, along with Cash Patel. They need to sit down. Go sit down. Why this come up with a warlock? I said they are the devils, ain't they? Aren't they the devils? Y'all come on in. Let's talk about it. I want to start with the turning point. Yeah, because I
I use
remember
PayPal to buy this ticket. I'm paying it off
old
over the.
girl talked about them missing money. Oh, now, oh boy, it's bringing it up. Let's start here, though. Let's start here. Let's go. Cut the volume. AunTeaFee, you gonna leave that right there with the men.
2 weeks ago, I posted a video about red flags at Turning Point USA. Among the many things I mentioned, Turning Point was missing 3 of the 4 990 forms for their shell companies.
Y'all remember that?
Well, guess what? The missing forms have mysteriously been posted, and they are marked that they were filed on May 15th, 2025. So they are claiming that they filed 4 forms, the IRS posted one, held on to the other 3, and for some reason posted them 6 months later when people started talking about it online.
Did.
Isn't that convenient? But we're not going to dwell on it, because the more important thing is that now we have the missing financials. And you're not going to believe this.
Hey, Dorothy.
It gets even worse.
Hey, Spit. It gets worse. Yay, you made it on time.
In the 990 forms, you can go to page 8, and each organization must list out their highest paid independent contractors. What is curious is that on the FY24 form for America's Turning Point, Tyler Boyer lists himself as an independent contractor, and he puts his personal home address. Now, I'm not
Tyler Boyer. That name came up a
on
lot,
the
didn't it?
FY24 form for America's Turning Point, Tyler Boyer lists himself as an independent contractor, and he puts his personal home address. Now, I'm not doxing anyone here because it is public information on the IRS form. And I have to tell people, please do not go to Tyler Boyer's house. That is not appropriate. But I will say, if you go look up his residence on Google Maps, you will see that he lives in a massive mansion. Now, I'm not going to show his home out of respect, but you can go see it for yourself. It is mind-blowing. Where is Tyler Boyer getting all this money? But what is even more important is if you go to the other shell company, Turning Point Action, in FY 2024, their #1 independent contractor is a company called 110 LLC. In fact, this has been one of their largest contractors for the last 3 years. These are all the payments, and they total $1,456,261 over the last 3 years. That's almost $1.5 million. The description they provide is social,
we're going to see in a minute why she got that death threat.
Now, there is also an address for this company. So I thought, let's take a trip and go check this company out. If Turning Point is paying them $1.5 million, they must be doing something really great. I am on location in Queen Creek, Arizona. And if you don't know, Queen Creek is a suburb of Phoenix. So I'm at the address that was listed on the 990 form. And this is strange. This is a strip mall. So I'm going to get out, I'm going to take a walk around and see if I can find the business.
A strip mall?
110 LLC. Okay. I've walked past all the suites. I've checked all the doors. The business 110 LLC, as far as I can tell, is not here. What is going on? So Turning Point is putting on their IRS form that they are sending $1.5 million to this parking lot. Well, I'm sitting here in the parking lot. The business is not here as far as I can tell. What is going on?
Fraud.
I mean, maybe they didn't think that anyone was going to actually drive out here and check it out. But as far as I can tell, the business is not here. So my question is, do the Turning Point donors know this is how their money is being spent?
Nope.
That Turning Point is writing on their IRS forms that they're sending $1.5 million to this parking lot. I did some additional checking. Another thing that is strange
Right.
is that there is no website for 110 LLC. How do you run a business without a website? That's pretty strange. And I thought, maybe they moved. Maybe there's a different location. But if you look it up on Google Maps, there is no location for 110 LLC.
Huh?
So there's no website, there's no location. Does this company actually exist?
Huh?
Well, we do have records that it is owned by someone named Jake Hoffman, who is actually the former communications
Hoffman?
director for Turning Point USA. He is now a Republican state senator
Oh, here
in
we go.
Arizona. Now, just to give you some context, Jake Hoffman is a really powerful person in Arizona,
Here we go.
which may be why no one has talked about this before. In his financial disclosure statement, he lists that he is the owner of 110 LLC at the same address
Huh?
in Queen Creek. What is also curious is that on the financial disclosure form, he lists out 8 different businesses that are all operating out of that same strip mall.
And this is
But
still
what is even
Turning
more
Point?
strange is that on the financial disclosure form, he actually lists out the suite numbers. He claims that he is operating his business out of
10
suites 105 to 503. Excuse me? That is every suite in the strip mall. How does that make sense? Is he operating out of the grocery store? Is he operating out of Panda Express? Is he operating his business out of the pet dental clinic?
Right here.
Now, if you watch
Pet,
my
all right.
channel, you can tell that I'm a conservative. But I do not have a problem calling out a Republican if I see something that looks shady. And this is all allegedly. I don't know if anything illegal is happening for sure.
Huh?
Maybe there is an innocent explanation for all of this. I have never met Jake Hoffman, so I cannot speak to whether he's an ethical person or not.
No.
All I can speak to is what these people are writing in their financial forms. You have to admit that it looks pretty strange.
Look
It
like
looks
fraud
like
to
Turning
me.
Point is sending $1.5 million to a parking lot to get picked up by a politician. If you remember, Baker Tilly is the accounting firm that did the annual financial audit.
Yes, I
So
remember.
they're the ones that signed off on Turning Point. They give it a clean audit. They said there's no problems at Turning Point. Well, Baker Tilly, did you look at the largest contract? They're supposed to do an audit procedure to make sure that it's an actual company.
Not.
Well, I'm sitting here in the parking lot. I'm looking around, and I don't see a company called 110 LLC. So, Baker Tilly, I want to know the specific audit procedure that you did to ensure that this was a legitimate company and not an illegal payment to a politician. In a few weeks, Turning Point is hosting their biggest event of the year, America Fest. All of your favorite content creators will be showing up in Phoenix, Arizona to give speeches.
Oh,
I
is
wonder
that
if
that
any of these
fool? Hold
people have a
on.
problem with Turning Point sending $1.5 million. Turning Point is
Of
hosting
course
their
they don't.
biggest event of the year, America Fest. All of your favorite content creators will be showing up in
Fraud.
Phoenix, Arizona to give speeches.
Fraud.
I wonder if any of these people have a problem with
Fraud.
Turning Point sending $1.5 million
They
to
are
a parking
Zionists.
lot.
They don't believe in God.
Are any of them going to address in their speech
No.
any of the financial concerns at Turning Point? Patrick Bet David has one of the largest business podcasts in the world, and he has been a major contributor to America Fest. He is the business guy. Can he explain this to us?
Nope.
I would like to hear Patrick
only wants
Bet
to talk
David
about
give us
Candace.
some kind of business scenario which explains why Turning Point would send $1.5 million to a parking lot.
Let's hear
Now, I've
this.
noticed a lot of comments suggesting that it is inappropriate for me to criticize the finances of Turning Point USA. Let me explain this for people who may not
Y'all
understand.
crazy.
Turning Point receives a
Turning
tax
Point is
subsidy.
not off limits.
That is what a 501c3 is. You are paying more in taxes so that Turning Point is tax exempt. And in general, this is a good thing. because we want nonprofits out in the world doing good things. So we give them this tax benefit. But if Turning Point is
not graping kids and not hiring pedos who already have a history of taking advantage of kids, no. That is not what your tax dollars is for. And hopefully that is not what you signed up for, Officer Tatum. There's a lot of kooky stuff going on. Yeah. All you can do, good sir, is complain about Candace Owens. And now we want to hear what you got to say about this fraud. Are you a part of the frauding? Are you a part of the cover-up? I think all of you men, you non-God believing, devil worshiping, blood sucking, child sacrificing, cult followers, all of y'all who are against Candace exposing the truth, I think y'all all in one big happy booty tapping party of men who are sick in the head. And all you can do, yeah, you got that line right here too. You got that line right here too. Are you one of them cyborgs? What is it called? Reptilians. Thank you, Drew Harris. Are you one of them reptilians? Huh? Reptilians. Yeah, reptilians. I just saw that line right here. It looked like a pyramid right there. Yeah, you got a stamp on your right in between your eyes. Got it. Got it. Can you turn to the left? I see that line. Uh-huh. Do you see that top? There go that line. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Got it. Yeah. Yeah.
Turning Point would send
He one
$1.5
of
million
them.
to a parking lot. Now, I've noticed a lot of comments suggesting that it is inappropriate for me to criticize the finances of Turning Point USA. Let me explain this for people who may not understand.
Hey, Purple Flower.
Turning Point receives a tax subsidy. That is what a 501c3 is.
But y'all want to take everybody else's tax subsidy away.
So that Turning Point is tax exempt. And in general, this is a good thing because we want nonprofits out in the world doing good things. So we give them this tax benefit.
You're one of them
But if Turning
reptilians.
Point is not doing good in the world, if they have problems in their financials, if their tax forms are missing, maybe they should not get tax-exempt status.
Absolutely.
The rich and powerful people who run Turning Point are raising hundreds of millions of dollars, and they don't have to pay tax on any of it because you watching this video are footing the bill.
Ain't that nothing?
So every American has the right to ask questions about Turning Point's financials. If you think they look shady, you are absolutely justified in demanding answers.
Is here.
Built is a loyalty
What you
program
mean,
for
Chris?
renters
What
that helps you turn
creator?
your monthly rent payments into flights, hotels, Lyft rides, Amazon.com.
What creator?
Was the missing $8.6 million that was transferred from Turning Point USA to America's Turning Point. Now we have the finances so we can see how that money was spent. Now we have the finances so we can see how that money was spent. Just to recap, there are 4 years. The other thing I mentioned in my last video was the missing $8.6 million that was transferred from Turning Point USA to America's Turning Point. Now we have the finances.
Y'all
so
come
we can
in
see
hitting
how
the
that
like
money was
button.
spent. Just to recap, there are 4 shell companies.
Charlie, they turned on you.
USA is the
Ooh,
main
you
one.
can't trust
Then we have
nobody,
Turning Point
can you?
Action, America's Turning Point, and Turning Point Endowment.
Y'all, I need for y'all to double tap the face of your screen. Get them likes up. It was 200 people in here. I only had 6 likes. Double tap the face of your phone and get the likes up. Or hit those 3 dots at the top right. Look at these. They're just stealing. stealing their butt off. And they unalive Charlie because Charlie saw money going out. Well, that ain't the only reason. And money coming in, he didn't recognize where it was coming from.
That was transferred from Turning Point USA to America's Turning Point. Now we have the finances so we can see how that money was spent. Just to recap, there are 4 shell companies. Turning Point USA is the main one. Then we have Turning Point Action, America's Turning Point, and Turning Point Endowment. Just as a reminder, Tyler Boyer is the only paid executive listed for America's Turning Point. Charlie Kirk is not even listed. So
Wow.
It seems strange to me that in FY24, $8.6 million mysteriously got transferred out of the main company
Well,
into
we
the
know
shell
who the
company
big thief
managed
is.
by Tyler Boyer. When we look at how this money was actually spent, it went mainly to salaries. And in the last video, I mentioned the possibility of ghost employees.
Yep.
This is when an organization pays people,
That-
records it as salary expense, when those people do not actually work for the business. So I want to drill down into this idea further. Now, I have to admit that salary information can be notoriously hard to analyze because people are constantly coming and going from an organization. For instance, you could get a bunch of people hired in the last month of the year. Those kind of timing issues can cause strange fluctuations in your expenses, but you would expect the overall trends to make sense. You would expect the numbers to be within a certain range that is realistic. For America's Turning Point in FY24, we see that for the first time, they report 24 employees. This number is reported on a calendar year, and the expenses are reported on a fiscal year ending on 6/30. So let's stagger these out. If their 990 forms are correct, and they had 0 employees in calendar year 2022, that means that the entire salary expense for FY23 was related to the first 6 months of calendar year 2023. They spent $3.7 million in 6 months on salaries. In my opinion, these numbers are a bunch of baloney. The math does not work. Let's use the most favorable assumptions for America's Turning Point and assume that this expense was spread out across the largest number of employees. If we assume that 24 employees were hired on January 1st and worked for 6 months, that means that the average annual salary of those 24 employees was around $300,000. That's a lot of money. That is every employee at America's Turning Point. It could be the secretary. I would like to know what that secretary is doing that they get a salary of $300,000. I would like to ask the other employees at the other shell companies at Turning Point. Are you all making $300,000 a year? Because according to the financials, somebody is. Now, we don't know this for sure, these are just assumptions, but I am telling you that this is catching my eye as a red flag because these are astounding numbers for a nonprofit. $8.6 million mysteriously gets transferred into the shell company managed by Tyler Boyer, and it is spent on this massively inflated salary expense. Again, maybe there is some kind of innocent explanation for this, but at some point, we're going to need a lot of explanations. One of the board members for Turning Point is a guy named Tom Sedeka. Ironically, Tom Sedeka was the president and CEO of a payroll company. This is from a press release on the NASDAQ website. From 2003 to 2020, he ran Precision Payroll of America, where he turned that company into a leader in the complex, highly regulated world of human resources and payroll processing. So let's ask the payroll guy. Tom Sedeka, do you see anything strange with these payroll numbers? Now, to understand the full picture, it's not just about where the money was going to, it's also where the money was coming from.
Yep.
When I was going through all the new financial information, I saw this chart, and immediately, I had a good idea of what was going on. This shows revenue going into Turning Point Action, and you can see a gigantic leap in revenues for FY24. It went from $10.7 million to $27.2 million. That is over a 150% increase in 1 year, an extraordinary achievement for a nonprofit. What is even more curious is when you put this chart side by side with Turning Point USA. Turning Point USA shows a 4% increase. Remember that Turning Point USA is the main organization with Charlie Kirk as president. Charlie Kirk works a lot less on Turning Point Action, and Tyler Boyer is the COO. Do you see what is happening? For some reason, in FY24, Turning Point got a ton of new donors. But these new donors went around Charlie Kirk and into the organization where Tyler Boyer was the COO. It's almost like they did not want Charlie Kirk to know about it. Now, we don't know who these mysterious new donors are, but it looks like someone was trying to take over MAGA and they were doing it behind Charlie Kirk's back. The timing of all of this is very important.
And the likes are too. Y'all better get them likes up. Double tap.
FY24 represents the 12...
No, sir. 415 people in here. You better double tap. Only 16 likes, 22 minutes in. Please, please, please double tap. The face of your screen on your phone is free. It's just that simple. Nothing comes to me. Just double tap. Get the likes up. Like, share, subscribe, join the membership. Yeah, let's get the facts. Let's get a better understanding of what's going on and why it looks like Charlie Kirk had to be unalive. Why he had to be removed. Who had their hand in the money jar? Huh? Yeah, a whole lot of stealing going on. You understand? And he's affiliated and attached to MAGA. Ain't that what he said? Get the likes up. Get the likes up. Let's get the likes up. It went 4% increase to 150% increase. Yeah, and he started saying, hold up. We need to have a audit. Where the money at? Where the money at? Where the money coming from? Get the likes up. Get the likes up for me, baby. Get the likes up. Just double tap is free. I mean, if you want to send a super chat, a super sticker, use the little gift box down there, that works too. But do something. Do something other than ear hustling. Yeah, you want to come in and ear hustle. Get the likes up. Yeah. Yeah. You want to ear feel a fool. Yeah. Thank you, Samantha. Yeah. Yeah, bye. Get your ass up out of here. A moocher. Moocher. Yeah, you're a moocher. Ha. Yeah. Get your mooching ass up out of here, Chris Miller. Yeah. Thank you, Michael. But Chris Miller is a moocher. Yeah, he wants something for free. Yeah, he can't even do it. He can't even do a like. And he called me greedy. Now you a moocher. I bet you your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your dog friend, your mama friend, and daddy friend, I bet you all of them pay your bills. Trifling ass. Trifling ass. Let's go. Thank you. Let's go. But keep them up, because I'm going to stop again. I bet you one of Boyer's friends just stealing behind the scenes. You want to take all the tea sippers' tea and not show no support. Get your ass up out of here, Chris Miller. Yeah.
Tyler Boyer is the COO. Do you see what is happening?
Yeah, he's stealing.
For some reason, in FY24, Turning Point got a ton of new donors. But these new donors went around Charlie Kirk and into the organization where Tyler Boyer
Thank you
was
for the
COO.
high five.
It's almost like they did not want Charlie Kirk to know about it.
Absolutely.
Now, we don't know who these mysterious new donors are, but it looks like someone was trying to take over MAGA and they were doing it behind Charlie Kirk's back. The timing of all of this is very important. FY24 represents the 12 months ending June 30th, 2024. Remember what was happening at this time.
We works the
This
Giants.
period lines up almost exactly with the Republican primary for the 2024 presidential election. January 15th, 2024, Trump wins the Iowa caucuses with 51% of the vote. Happening at this time. This period lines up almost exactly with the Republican primary for the 2024 presidential election. January 15th, 2024, Trump wins the Iowa caucuses with 51% of the vote. March 5th, 2024, on Super Tuesday, Trump wins 14 of 15 Republican contests, and on the following day,
So this is some Trump thievery. He did say MAGA, didn't he? He did say MAGA. Interesting. That's why Trump don't have nothing to say. Yeah. Yeah, that's why he been quiet.
caucuses with 51% of the vote. March 5th, 2024, on Super Tuesday, Trump wins 14 of 15 Republican contests, and on the following day, Nikki Haley drops out of the race. May 30th, 2024, Donald Trump was convicted of 34 felony counts in New York, and it did nothing to reduce his popularity. So in FY24, it was becoming obvious that Donald Trump was the frontrunner in the presidential race. When Nikki Haley dropped out, you had all these rich and powerful donors who no longer had any influence over the Republican Party. These donors had to come up with some new way to infiltrate MAGA. I think they went to Tyler Boyer. You also have to remember how busy Charlie Kirk was at this time. He was racing all over the country trying to get Donald Trump elected. So if someone at Turning Point was working behind his back to steal money from the company, this would have been a really